Hey guys, I'm David and this is Daniel. Welcome to Sounds Like NYC, a podcast dedicated to spotlighting New York City talent. Our guest for episode 78 is a Brooklyn-based artist. New single "Loving Someone" is out now. You can find her on Instagram at Sam. How do you say your last name?
Addeo.
Adeo.
Addeo.
Addeo. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
you can find her on Instagram at Sam Addeo. That's Addeoo. Please welcome Sam. Yay.
Yay!
That's fun.
What's going on?
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, so how did this come about? Because I think you
Of
you
course,
reached out,
I am
right?
the arbiter of all things good
Yeah.
to this podcast. No, but like, so I just saw that you were like following us. So I was just like, okay, cool. I just like looked at your profile, saw that you're a musician, saw that you're based in Brooklyn, and like we're like always looking for more people to come on and stuff like that. So I just like messaged you, and like you were like super receptive from like the offset, like almost like you were like waiting for us to invite you on. So like, yeah.
One could say.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, it's very much, I'm from New York, like you guys, and when it was like Sounds Like NYC, and I worked for like a history New York City kind of
Mhm.
organization. And when I was telling my friends that I was like about to possibly do a podcast episode with you guys, they were like, "You would be on one that's called like Sounds Like NYC." It was on brand, so that's part of it.
Yeah,
Nice,
now checking
nice.
that website, it's kind of cool because like you can see like pictures of like old New York,
Hmm.
and I was just looking around my block, but obviously
Oh,
there's not much over there
yeah.
because it's not really like
Yeah, like I want to see kind of like old Canarsie, because like used to be like a primarily
Italians or what?
Italian and like Jewish, I think, and like now it's not that, but it's like I want to see, but I feel like it hasn't like really changed because it's so like residential. So I feel like nothing's like really changed over the past 50, 60, 70 years. But we
Yeah,
do have a BJ's. Yeah.
There you go. I don't have BJ's.
that's where everything changes.
Yeah. Once that
Once
first
there's a
BJ's comes,
BJ's,
yeah, it's
home prices go up.
yep, basically, yeah. But yeah, so like tell us more about this whole like historical society, or is it just like a uh historical preservation type of like job, or like what's up with that?
Yeah, so we're a tech nonprofit. We work with museums, libraries, archives across the city. We also have a couple of cities outside of New York City that we are working with. I kind of describe it as like a Google Map like app for history. So in the same way that you'd be like, hey, where am I gonna go grab a cup of coffee? You could open up your phone, open up the map, and you could see, what your house, your office, your building, or that corner you always really wondered about what it looks like. Through the lenses of many photographers at different institutions. Yeah, so it's a fun job. We've been around for about 3-4 years at this point, and I've been with the team pretty much since the start, for the most part. So
Wow, that's
time
pretty
flies.
interesting. Yeah, like did you like kind of like study kind of like history back in like college or stuff like that, or was it just like randomly like you just like needed like a day job to like fund like
I just
music
need a
stuff like that?
job, bro. I don't care.
Yeah, yeah. So like how'd you get so like yeah, so what was the process of like be of like getting that job, because that's like a very interesting sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of happened, but it also was very much in line with all my interests. I did my master's in undergrad at Queens College for urban studies. I've always had like a love for cities, certainly amplified that interest and passion by studying it. And I really fell in love with maps as I was really taking more coursework and how maps, really tell a story, connecting the dots. And as I was looking for work, finishing my undergrad, I actually started at Urban Archive, which is the organization's name. As an intern, and then I came on the team right when I graduated, and kind of fell into it. Like I didn't really think about archives before that, but in terms of like the tech side and the kinds of institutions, it's very in line with the things I was thinking about and kind of where I was hoping to go. And yeah, it's been it's a really small and a quirky team, and you certainly learn like a lot of really weird history facts. Like there's this one fact that I'm known for loving, and there was this like it's called Snake Rock, and there's this like rock all the way up in like Inwood in Manhattan, and there's like this serpentine figure basically etched into this rock, and people thought it was like a godsend or like just like some kind of phenomenon, and people would come and like look at Snake Rock at that time when they were like going through Manhattan to go and travel uptown through the Bronx and beyond, and like there's a photo of the snake etched into the rock, and I just think that like that weird fact is so cool. So you kind of know a lot of weird shit like that naturally.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. Like there's so many, yeah, I don't know, because like even though I've like, lived here all my life, there's so few places that I like legitimately know about the city, because yeah, like it's bigger. Like when you see like the MTA subway map or like whatever, like the city seems like manageable, but like once you like just like the actual nitty
For
gritty of
sure.
things, like it's huge, isn't it? And like, I mean, are there like any places in the city that you like that you like want to like explore, but that you haven't had the opportunity yet?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I actually explored Staten Island a lot this summer with
Oh.
COVID and quarantine. Just like
No, we said New York City.
well, point made. It's like no one goes to Staten Island. Like you
Yeah.
got to pay a tax or a ferry to
Yeah.
get there,
Yeah.
and
Like,
and like I ate like amazing
Exactly.
pizza, and I was like, why have I like not ate on Staten Island before? So like
Mhm.
parts of the Bronx as well. I got to explore this summer just with wanting to get out of my own neighborhood.
Mhm.
I haven't gone to school at Queens College. I feel like I know Queens very well, like the far out in Queens to like the waterfront and like in
Eat, right?
between.
It's like what in Flushing?
Yeah, it's in Flushing, College Point, Forest Hills area. It's kind of like the hybrid of all that, or the intersection. And I feel like I know Manhattan and Brooklyn for the most part, so I feel like those two other boroughs I got to spend some time, getting out there.
Yeah.
That's Staten Island for you, David.
Yeah. One day we'll go, right?
I went there. It's okay.
You went.
I've been there.
It's there was like because I was part of like this like internship where they just took us like historic
I'm sorry.
places or whatever, and there was like this one place in Staten Island where like apparently there's like a ghost or something. There was like some fucking ghost show. Did an episode on there. I forgot what it's called.
Mhm.
Something governors or something. I think I don't fucking know. But that's the
Oh,
only time I went.
wow.
Yeah. Talk to us about like your music though. Like
Yeah, so
when did you
like
get started?
yeah, because we were talking about history up until this
Yeah,
point, but
because that's
like
kind of
yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm gonna leave now. Yeah, so I mean, I grew up playing guitar. I'm 25, and then I started taking guitar lessons when I was 8. So at this point, I've been writing and touching a lot of instruments my whole life. I think I bought like a mandolin in high school. Like I touched like everything, but I really just mostly stuck to the guitar at the end of the day in terms of like something that I could say that I actually play, But yeah, I've been writing songs, original music. I also like grew up playing in a church band and had like that had a big influence on like the kinds of stuff that I gravitated towards. Inspiration, just like a lot of layered and texture in songs.
Yep.
And yeah, so I didn't I mean, I've always fooled around with like recording things on my own, but I think what I had always really struggled with is like I just suck at production. And I've gotten better over the years, it kind of naturally is that, but what was really hard is like writing stuff and hearing it in your head and also playing it, but like not being able to feel like it was done until you heard like a produced version of it. But working with a producer that not only like shares your same vision, but like can unlock things that you can't unlock was like really important. Having like grown up around other musicians, being the person who really wrote the song, composed the song, all of it. Identifying that collaborator that could like take what you're thinking to the next level and that you trust. That was a big key. And it didn't really happen for me until honestly right now, which is where we're at. And the song that is actually about to release in a week and a half is
No. It already released.
Oh yeah, already released. So Loving Someone. I actually met the producer. They were a friend of a friend, and it just like I heard his music, I heard his stuff, and I was like, oh, like I vibe with this, and I reached out to the guy, and totally gelled like immediately, and I was like, I trust your vision. Let's just go for it, and here we are, and we kind of cranked out the song pretty quickly, and we made changes, added new things, but it was a really fun process to just like gel with someone and take what you've been hearing in your head and bring new things into it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because we were like listening to like some of your SoundCloud stuff, and it sounds great. Like I really like kind of like the production style that you like going for. And it was well, you don't have it. Pull up the bass, baby. Hurry up. Come on. Yeah, there you go. It was a simple no. A sample that I like really love. It just reminds me, it's almost like house music is. It's has a like very eerie, spacey vibe to it. And like I like really liked, what you're doing. So like would you want to like talk about some of your like production techniques or secrets, or like how you go from like initial idea to finished like product?
Yeah. So for me, I always really start with my guitar. I feel like this past year, like I've written at least, it's like 2020, I've written at least like 12 songs this year.
Oh, nice.
And the process for like writing usually is mostly with my guitar. Usually I'm jamming and like we'll kind of hear something, and I'll just like want to stay on it, and I don't know why, and then eventually like after playing it, like this like melody will come to my head, and then I'll like just start like mumbling lyrics usually. And a lot of times I even use like filler lyrics just because I'm like vibing and kind of like envisioning what the song will be like, so just creating that like structure. So it's mostly like starting with an instrument. Like even last night I was fooling around, and I actually put my guitar away and I took out like my keyboard, and I kind of had this thing on loop, and it's like this super vibey, almost like house track. And I like didn't think that I was even gonna like put lyrics to it, and then like after listening to it for like 40 minutes and just like fooling around, this like really fun, almost like R&B melody came, and like I usually don't write R&B, but I've been listening to like a lot of Ariana Grande lately, and maybe that's her influence with her new album. But yeah, and so it kind of just comes, and I don't usually write things in a full sitting. I normally will get the bones, get the infrastructure there, and then we'll go back like in a second sitting and like crank it out. And then if there's like any part that I can't finish like lyrically, I usually will sit on it for a while and I'll keep playing it, but then like sometimes that just like eats at you because you can't finish it. And that's sometimes when I like will bring in a friend. Like even the song Loving Someone that's out now is I was sitting on it for like 2 years, and it's like I normally don't try to finish a song that's been around for like 2 years in like a book, but I just like loved it so much, and like it represented like a lot to me. And then I shared it with a friend, and he heard it. He was like, "This is great!" Like he's like, "You're just missing like one sentence," and that one sentence basically like enabled me to go randomly meet this guy who produced my track and like unlocked all these other things. So
yeah.
It was like, it happened from like sharing with a friend who like believed it. So that's like super cool,
Yeah, no, that's a really cool, because like I'm a guitarist myself primarily, and like I've been trying to get into more electronic production, Ableton, all that jazz stuff like that. But the thing is that I don't have a MIDI keyboard, so it's been kind of hard doing that, and I took for granted,
Christmas gift.
Yeah, from you to me, thanks. But yeah,
you have to.
Yeah, thank you, David. You're so kind. But like, yeah, so
Just get
I
a picture of it.
yeah.
I'll just get you the box.
But I definitely, because I'm still struggling with kind of like getting getting out ideas that are more electronic based,
Mhm.
from my head to a computer to like a DAW and stuff like that, because
Mhm.
I've been trying to kind of like produce things in a way where like my guitar is, kind of like taking the lead in terms of just like using effects and stuff like that to, kind of like get all these sounds. But like definitely just like electronic production is such like a different headspace, and like yeah, but like it's really cool because you seem to like be able to like go in between, I guess like singer songwriting and then more like electronic based stuff. So
Yeah.
like
Do they have MIDI guitars yet?
they no, yeah, they do. I mean, they've had them since like the 80s, but like there's like this like one pickup thing where you like put it like in a guitar and like basically have it make like MIDI notes, so that I could get something like that, but that's like kind of expensive, and like I want to become like a better pianist as well. So like I
Mm.
really do need to get like a MIDI keyboard. But yeah, was there like any like struggle for you, kind of like adjusting from more like singer songwriter church music? Because I like grew up in church as well, so I do know what you talk about, kind of like acoustic guitar, lots of like
Mhm.
pads and sims and layers and
Kumbaya.
stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Basically, Hillsong music, more or less, right? But
Yeah.
like,
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think what's like hard when I am thinking about like putting things on the computer, like that digital version of it, is um you lose a lot of like the emotion in what you're playing. Like, when you're strumming, you could like control, like you could hit the strings with your fingers, you could mute, you could like really change that. But I am like such a perfectionist that like when I then go to like keys, like I like stress out over like velocity, which is so dumb. But like, if all of the velocity of like the notes when you're just plugging it in are the same, it doesn't sound like someone's actually playing it. It's too perfect. And so I had done that for a while, and then I watched one of my friends like record himself playing keys. He's an actual pianist, and he was like, "No, you actually want like to hit the notes at a little bit of a different time." But I'm thinking in my like perfectionist brain and thinking, oh, like the notes of a C chord or this, like get that in, and they all start at the same time and they pause, but like the roll into all of the notes into it like changed everything and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
humanized. And I was like, oh, like I've been sleeping on this. But like then my perfection itself then wants to like perfect all that. But
And everything.
what
Yeah.
also interesting in that too is that and I learned this from a friend when I like finally bought an audio interface, because I had been playing off this like recording off of it like an old Snowball microphone, which was fine for a number of years. But I finally bought like an audio interface, and he was like, when I'm creating, like I don't actually try to perfect things. Like he's like, the sounds might not be there, but like I'm just creating in that mode. And I think what like stunts me in that like creative process or the production process is confusing like the mix and like all of the different sounds and elements that you want to bring in when you're just like actually creating the feel of just like maybe the format and where it will go, and like liking bringing in like drums here, you're bringing in like this like background synth or this pulsating kind of like rhythm, and by like getting too lost in just like finding the right sound and creating that sound, yeah, it then like stunts your creativity, at least for me.
Yeah.
So it's like they're kind of like two different processes.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think right now might be a good time just to plug in the song.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's do it.
Even though I wish you were mine, not cherish our time, we can make things right. 'Cause loving someone means losing someone. Having your heart like it was nothing, it changes your name.
Yeah, so hey guys, welcome back to this episode of Sounds Like NYC. And you have just finished listening to Loving Someone by Sam Addeo.
You got it right the first time, bro.
Addeo? Okay, by Sam Addeo. And yeah, so like, do you want to tell us about the lyrical context? Like where where your headspace was, or like,
Because I saw a tweet of yours saying like you were writing the lyrics in like a notes app like 2 years ago or something, right?
Yeah. So this guy was like, it's crazy. This is like, I've never spent so much time on a song. And also I feel like this song sounds a lot different than my other songs, maybe because it has been just like in the works for so long. There's actually like 20 different versions of this song. Like I've like made this song so many times, like just trying to finish it. And I've written so many songs out of it. And I really just like loved the intro verse and the chorus when I started writing it like 2 years ago. I was just using a lot of jazz chords. It has like a lot of just like really, really, there's a lot of walk-ups in the guitar lines that sound really nice, but just to, like fill the song. But I actually shared with some friends somewhat recently like this terrible version of the song that was like, went like rap. I was like, what was I thinking? And then there's this like totally ambient version, a poppy version, and it was just like having the song like be stuck in my head for so long, and being like,
you're basically making like cover versions of like your own song at that point, or I guess like this produced version is like technically like a cover version of like the versions before it.
Yeah,
very circular.
You should put those out.
Yeah, you should put those.
I know. I'm thinking of like releasing like the
maybe like that'll
like
just make, the story of like loving someone that's like or something.
Yeah.
Do some cool with it.
It's honestly kind of weird. It's crazy. But yeah, so I guess 2 years ago I wrote the chorus, and then I think about a year ago I wrote like the first verse, and I think that they were separate songs, but they were in the same key and used similar chords. So I was like, let me see if I can merge them, and I think that that's why I like got so stuck for a minute, where I was like, how the heck do I like really like bring these together? And what's like interesting about the song is like it's like first verse, chorus, and like the second verse sounds like literally nothing like the first verse, like in any way. The song just changes, so it's like every single element, every single piece of the song just has a different element, and it's not just like verse 1, chorus 1, verse 2, chorus 2, in that kind of repetitive way that you might be used to. And I also like cut out a bridge because I was like, the song's just done. Like I was like,
yeah, if you need a bridge.
Yeah, so I was like, here we go, this is done. But it was like really fun to think about. It starts like very open, and there's like a guitar line, and then like a bass kind of comes in, but then it kind of goes into more of like a poppy open feel. There's some like really cool vocal harmonies happening in like the choruses, and yeah, so that's kind of like how the song came to be. It's like maybe why it sounds so different in each piece is because I like reconstructed this song so many times and like wrote 2 different songs and then brought it together. Yeah, so that's what you guys are hearing.
I can't wait to listen to it.
You already listened to it.
Yes, I did, but I can't wait to listen to it again.
There you go.
Duh. But
all the other versions too.
Yeah, all the other versions too. But like, yeah. So like, speaking of this, because we've been talking about you creating music, in like a studio or just like by yourself and things like that. But like, have you like ever performed live? And like, if you like haven't yet, but like, what would your like live show setup be in terms of like instrumentation, band, all of that? Or like, if you like have performed, like how has your live show looked like in the past?
So I've not. I mean, I've played for other people as a guitarist, but I've never had my own thing. Like this is completely like new territory. I would say I'm open to it. Like I don't know if you feel this way, but like when you're I viewed myself just as a guitarist for so long, even though I've like written, and like for me like vocals are like so secondary. Like I find like I have my own voice. I can't just like maybe sing like every song. I've like grown into my own voice, and I kind of recognized that I had a voice like growing up in high school, but I was never like the singer in all of the, the musical groups I was part of. And then so much of like college and the years after college were like discovering my own voice. And I would say like the idea of like me, like, aside from creating my own song, but like, playing live like that's kind of different in that, I think you have to be on autopilot. Like my guitar could be on autopilot, but because I have to like, I feel like I have to be thinking about my like whereabouts vocally and just like controlling, you know, notes where to land is like, for me, like what you hear like singing is like me practicing it over and over and over again, just because I've grown into my own voice. And like, again, like I'm not just someone who could like maybe sing any song. So in terms of like playing live, I definitely don't think I'd go in alone. Like I've always been like a band oriented like person. So for me, I definitely want to play with people because like that would just be like fun. Bring in some friends who like play different instruments. I kind of have a group of friends that would be down at this point. So I have like a couple other songs that will be released over the next year, probably as singles. And maybe once I have enough of them, it could be fun to like do it live with some friends. But again, it would be so in terms of like instrumentation, I would play guitar, but I would probably take more of like the backseat version of it. And then definitely like a keys person, some drums, definitely a bass, but probably 2 guitars, bass, keys, you know, keep it kind of simple. And then I think that like, you know, from the guitar side, I have a pedal board and stuff, so it would be kind of verb, you know, some modulation, chorus, and like overdrive. Nothing too crazy, but just I definitely have always gravitated towards those kinds of like the 80s and then the ambient kind of texture
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting the Strymon, like, you know, trifecta and like all that jazz. Yeah.
Sure.
Nice. Do you have any questions you want to ask?
Well, I mean, the question I always ask artists, sort of like the flagship question is like, how do you think New York City has changed you as a person, but also like as an artist?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've always gravitated towards like texture in like music. And I just think that New York City provides so much like color and texture, like sonically. And you know, some of my most favorite songs that I listen to have like random recordings, and like a lot of what's on my phone is just like recordings of places in the city that like maybe evoke a certain kind of emotion. You know, I think that like place and sound, they're all connected, and it would be cool, I think, to like bring some of those like recordings of just like conversations overheard that like kind of strike a chord with you. Like, you know, this is like a stereotypical example, but I have some like old recordings of like Washington Square Park, and like there is like a certain like 10 p.m. like sound to the park where there's the waterfall.
10 p.m. sound. That's interesting.
Not the waterfall. But like it's like nighttime, like the city's setting, and like there's a bunch of musicians just like, you know, playing at the park, and like you could hear like the guy with the piano who like brings it underneath the arch, like there. You could hear some jazz musicians on the other side, and like that's an obvious one, but like I just think it's really cool, and like I can pinpoint that being that sound. Same with like I'm a G Train, you know, person. Have like a G Train.
Yo, not for nothing, but G Train has got to be the worst train in New York City.
No. All the times I've taken the G, it's been fine.
It sucks. They make the station too big.
What do you mean?
The G Train is tiny.
No, because that's because they make the train too tiny.
No, they can make the train bigger.
No. That's what I meant.
Well, regardless, every time I've ever gone on the G, it's always fucking late.
Nah. The L is the worst because it's like my only option, and if I can't take the L, then I'm like, or if the L decides not to do its thing, like I'm like out of luck. Okay, so the G and the L are the worst, basically.
Or would you agree?
No, I would not. I haven't I haven't taken the train in like months now at COVID.
Yeah.
But in Manhattan, when you're at like Chelsea and you're trying to transfer uptown, the C and the E, they never come. They will never come. I swear by that. You will be there one day and you'll be waiting 40 minutes and you're going to be like, Sam said this. I should have taken a different route, and you'll.
Well, yeah, that's insane. At that point, I just rather
You just walk it.
to just like walk to like 8 F and just take like the A. At that point, I feel like would be like a better option.
Take the 1.
I don't really take the 1. Like I'm just like L and like A, L, A, and J.
I love the J train.
Yeah,
I love the J.
Good
Yeah.
train, good train,
yeah,
good train.
yeah. I just like it's because it's like all above ground until like Jamaica or I guess like most of like
No,
Queens and
it's,
Manhattan, right? No, Queens and Brooklyn.
It goes underground on Suffin, and then it goes underground again at Essex.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Where everything.
Yeah, it's a good train. I like it. Yeah, top
We
10
weren't-
trains in New York City. Yeah,
Sandy didn't affect us, bro. Above train gang.
yeah, above train gang, above train gang. Yeah, but yeah. Is there like anything that you want to like end with, or like any like lasting words? Sorry that we were just like joking around. We do this thing sometimes, but
I'm very passionate about my trains.
yeah.
I hear you. I support.
Yeah, but yeah, are there any things that you want to like end off with, like any like last words of advice or like any like plugs that you want to make? Because
Okay.
because like your friends, like I'm definitely interested in having your friends come on as well, because it seems like you have like you have like you like really core set of like musicians that you like work with, so it'd be cool having them on. So if you want to plug them, that would be you could do that too, but like go ahead.
Don't influence.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, so you could find me on Spotify, Sam Addeo, and or anywhere. Yeah, check out the song, and if you like it, like I think what would be most exciting is just like hearing your thoughts. Like I think it being my first, attempt at like releasing music, it's like for people to actually listen to it. Hopefully, if it like strikes a chord with them, and it's something that the fact that someone might like listen to it without me telling them to listen to it is still like a weird concept. So that's like just exciting, and if you're part of that, like thanks. And then to all my friends who've like helped support, like I'm working with Biyo on this track, and he's been great.
How do you spell that?
Biyo.
B what B? Oh okay. BYIO.
Biyo.
Oh BIY. Okay, cool.
Yeah. But so go check out their music. They have an amazing sound. Seriously, like so many great vibes, vocals, the chords that they're like using in their song are like so different and so themselves. So check them out.
Awesome.
Well, thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah. Thanks guys for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being such an avid fan of the podcast in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep doing it. Keep sending me stuff.
Definitely.
Keep creating. Keep riding the G. Keep riding the L train.
Oh God. If I
I'd
couldn't,
rather take
wouldn't.
the bus than take the G.